Hey everybody, it's EK Gorman from EK Gorman Designs, and I am sneaking in because I'm trying something a little bit different. I am using some of this Roald Dahl adhesive paper that I picked up from White Rose Crafts to create a couple of art journals. It's a sticky back paper. It's huge, absolutely ginormous, and I know it will do exactly what I need it to do and leave me some leftovers. I picked up from one of my local box stores a couple of art journals. I got some real cheapies for my daughters. Wow, English. For my little girls, who aren't so little anymore, but they are both big Roald Dahl fans. So, and they're big art journal fans and blank page notebooks. But it's a real cheap journal. It's filled with quality paper, but it's perfect for their ages. And then this one here is actually a watercolor journal with fine quality paper that I think will be able to handle a bunch of mixed media in it. I've needed a new art journal that can be used to do what I want it to do. I've got some new media that I want to play with, but I don't want to play with it in a way that I'm wasting material. I want a journal that I can play in, make a mess, and completely and utterly fail, and it's fine to fail. So I needed a new art journal, and I needed an art journal that was primarily for card making techniques. So I thought, I'll make it pretty. Because if I'm going to make a card making technique art journal in which I fail miserably and learn and play around, then it needs to be, paper craft up. Instead of just being like a regular art journal where I fail at canvas techniques. See where I'm going here? Apparently, I haven't put a book cover on a book for a bazillion years. I mean, literally for a bazillion years. I did add some score tape to the journal because I was thinking, okay, it will help the sticky back paper stick down. And then I realized I actually forgot to peel the sticky back paper off, so I fixed that off camera because I forgot to turn it on to show my big boo-boo. But then remember to peel the sticky back paper off the other sides and then peel the score tape paper. And see, I got it working finally. Ignore how bad the inside looks, I fixed that. But like I said, huge sheet of score tape, or not score tape, a huge sheet of this adhesive, fizzy, whiz big paper. It's all kind of quotes from Roald Dahl books. And I put it on to, these are the cheapy ones for my daughters. I put the sticky back paper onto the books, and it actually did a really nice job. What I did do that I didn't show on camera is I ended up taking some matte medium and putting a layer of glue over the sticky back paper just because I know how hard my daughters can be on things. Yeah, it's that simple. They'll carry it around in their little girl purses with pins and hairbrushes and mirrors and chapsticks, and it will touch a bazillion things throughout the day and definitely need some kind of additional protection. I pulled out the Fizzing Wizzy paper pack. It's an A4 paper pack, and I trimmed down 2 sheets of the coordinating paper, and I'm a big green fan, so I used the green polka dots. I trimmed it down so it would fit on the inside of the cover, leaving just a small frame, and then using some matte medium, again, just something I picked up at my local box store because I like with Liquitex, like you can get it anywhere, but the Liquitex matte medium is hands down my favorite adhesive for a collaging type project. And let's be honest, building a scrap journal really is a piece of collaging type. Anyway, I put that green paper in both sides of my art journal and then set it aside to dry. For my girls' art journals, I needed something a little bit more than just the adhesive paper on the covers because I thought it was getting a little boring looking. I could have just left it like that, but it needed a frame of some kind. And so I decided to trim up some paper from that same paper pack I got the green paper from. And I was going to use glue, but then I realized glue takes forever to dry. And I didn't know how the matte medium would work on the canvas of the book. So I went with score tape. And like I said, in the end I ended up coating things in matte medium. So it worked out well. Or I pseudo-coated. I kind of coated around things. But I definitely went over this paper. And it works, by the way, just fine on canvas if you're asking. And I added the strips to the front sides of the book. And I actually like how it kind of brings your eyes right into where you want them to focus in. And I did this to both of the books. I did different colors for the girls. In our house, we often joke that they have to be different but the same. So they need to be the same thing, but yet different. And they're 2 years apart, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, I also pulled out the Big Friendly Giant decoupage paper pack. And this is just one of 4 sheets or 5 sheets or 6 sheets. I can't remember. I actually did a full unboxing of this Roald Dahl collection, all the pieces that I ordered from White Rose Crafts. I will link it here so that way you can actually go see the joy of all the different products I have. And I go through each of the papers in the decoupage sheet so you can see what I'm not showing. But there's a cool little envelope. Look how cool the little envelope is. And you put the 2 pieces together, you'd adhere them with some score tape, and it makes a little envelope, which, you know, little girls, envelopes are awesome. So I stuck the envelope to the front, off kilter of course, to the front of one of the books, and then punched out some more Big Friendly Giant decoupage pieces. And instead of using 3-dimensional tape, which I normally would do with a decoupage, I just use score tape so there's a slight buildup. So things are still flat, but it's still visually interesting. You can tell there's a little bit of dimension just because the cardstock's so thick. Now the daughter that I'm giving this to, like, one of her favorite books is The Big Friendly Giant. So, like, we used Roald Dahl to get her to love reading. We were really struggling finding things for her to read, and then, like, on a whim, I introduced her to Roald Dahl, and, like, we could not keep up with her demand for books, and then, of course, we eventually ran out, and so she started over again, but Big Friendly Giant for her was a big one. I wanted to put inside the book a dedication for the girls, so I took my storybook stamp set and I added actually the open book inside the frame, but I am the world's worst stamper, so this was a huge risk. But look, I stamped. I stamped well. And there we go. That's the finished product. Oh, I trimmed these off. I tried folding them down, that they weren't long enough. But there's the first finished art journal for my older of the 2 daughters, with a little envelope and the teal cover. For my second daughter, she has not gotten into Roald Dahl quite like her sister has. She thoroughly enjoys the movies, though, that have come out. There's the Matilda and the Big Friendly Giant and Charlie and Chocolate Factory. You know, there's a couple movies. Anyway, she's, like I said, a little bit younger, and I'm going to try another push this year for Roald Dahl books with her because she's got the imagination that really could fall in love with these books. This is from the Fantastic Mr. Fox books. These are images from that. And while she hasn't read it, I don't think I've read this book. They're really images she's going to enjoy looking at. So I went with that for her just because she's kind of got that whimsy imagination that's so amazing in a kid. I trimmed off the weird little flaps that I created on the purple book. And I added my elephant with the crocodile, and I just realized it wasn't going to work. Like, it just didn't look good. Where the envelope went straight on and looked great, this one wasn't. So I actually stuck it to a piece of navy blue cardstock, and suddenly everything was singing and working the way it was supposed to. So I adhere this down to the cover. And then this is a little bookmark in the decoupage pack, and there's actually a little to from book. So I ended up sketching, it's not on the video, but I ended up sketching for my daughter a picture that would mean something to her inside the little book. And then just used the little decoupage book that says to and from, and wrote her name and my name. I wrote her name off camera just because she likes the anonymity of not being exposed on the Facebook. Or this isn't the Facebook. She doesn't like being exposed there, or on the YouTube. But there's the second book for my younger of my 2 daughters. And I really love how it came out. I love how this decoupage and paper packs just kind of do what I'm asking it to do. We're back to my art journal. So there's a really cool Big Friendly Giant quote in the decoupage sheet, and it's and I took some paper. I took some paper. I have a book I've been destroying for a couple of years now that I picked up. I think it was like, I got it for like 99 cents. I won't tell you what the book originally is. But I put a piece of actual text and then my quote on top of it, and using my matte medium, adhered it to the cover of my art journal. I pulled out some broken china and this Kaiser craft stamps. I will warn you, I think White Rose Crafts has sold out of this this stamp set. But they have some really, really cool Kaisercraft stamps, so go totally check out what they've got. I also took some Faded Jeans Distress ink and used that around the edges. I'm using Distress ink over Oxide because I know decoupage can go over, decoupage, wrong word, matte medium can go over Distress ink just fine and not smear it right away. Like, you have a little wiggle room. I needed a little something else on the cover in the same way I did with my daughters, and I may have adhered the words down crooked. That's really the problem, is I adhered everything down crooked. So I took a little bit of blue paper, which is kind of that same color as Broken China is, and adhered it, and I think it grounded things in a nice way. I added one more layer of matte medium over the whole top of the art journal book because, again, I wanted to lock in that distress ink. And there we go. There is my book today. That's it. It's the start of an art journal. Tune back in because I think I'm going to be showing some of my massive crafting, playing failures that I do inside of it. Let me know in the comments below if you're interested in seeing any weird techniques in my little art journal. And until then, happy crafting.